Welcome. We'll get started shortly. Before we begin, here's how to earn continuing professional education credit for attending this session. There are no polling questions or attendance checks. Instead, you will demonstrate your knowledge by taking a brief multiple-choice quiz using the Earmark app. Visit earmark.app in your web browser. You can also download the mobile app by scanning the QR code on the screen. Log in, or if you're new, create your free account. Be sure to use a valid email address because that's where we'll send your course completion certificates. From the home screen, scroll down to find the course. You can also tap the magnifying glass icon to search for the course. Tap on the course artwork, then the Enroll button. On the Course tab, you'll find the recording and quiz questions. Complete the quiz to earn your CPE certificate. It takes us a few days to create the course on the app, so if you are attending this session live, please wait a few days. We'll email you a link to the course when it is ready. If you have questions or need help, email us at support@earmarkcpe.com.
Well, welcome everybody to another Workshop Wednesday brought to you by schoolofbookkeeping.com, where you become the best bookkeeper you can be, because today we're having casual conversations for serious workflow. So some introductions are in order because we have a new face in the Brady Bunch here. Ted, introduce yourself for us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ted McRae. I work over here at MakersHub. I'll just do a brief background. I have to say this like at least 3 or 4 times a week because I do webinars all week long. But I started my career with leadership roles at like ADP, Paychex, and then Dan, like I like to joke with you, I went to a tiny little company that you guys have probably all heard of called Intuit. And I was a recycled employee at Intuit for there was so many times. I think like 10 years. And then I went to from Intuit, I went to an even smaller company called Xero. And at the time it was small. I started as employee number 15 at Xero US and really helped them develop their partner, like their go-to-markets for their partners. In the beginning, it was really cool, albeit towards the end, and even now, I think the partner channel has gone by the wayside, unfortunately. And then I went to a company called Accounting Suite, and now I'm here at MakersHub doing the same thing, helping with technology and bringing it out to the accounting partners.
So we're going to be talking today about transforming practices through AI, and you have a special love with AI. Tell us a little bit about
I have a unique skill set. I've been trained for many years. No, so one of the things is I am a self-proclaimed propeller head. I love technology, and I'm a big, gigantic nerd. So
yeah, and he is pretty tall too. So if you
I don't know if I've lost a lot of weight. I don't know if I'm as gigantic as I used to be. But no, I really just love technology. And because I've been in the accounting industry, not as an accountant, but in the industry for like 30 years, what I really enjoy doing is helping people take technology and figure out how do we make you more efficient. So especially when we talk about like subscription-based or value-based, whatever you want to call that, technology is really where you need to go and help get that into people's world. Their work world is really what I'm passionate about. So in doing that, when ChatGPT came out, I made sure that I started going to all these classes, and I got my prompt engineer certification.
Oh, so there's actually a certification to talk to ChatGPT.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it kind of demystifies the whole ChatGPT experience. If you go in, and I mean, it took a lot of time, but it really helps understand what it is. So I went and got my prompt engineer, because you know what happened, Dan and Rachel, I think it probably happens for a lot of people, is you think that there's this secret code that you have to know in order to craft a prompt, right? But there's no code. It's just like There's not a secret. Well, there is sometimes to talk to Dan DeLong. There is a secret when I'm at the trade shows. No, but if you're just talking to your spouse or your friend, there's no secret code. You know what you're going to ask them based on the response that you are hoping to get. So,
yeah, I freeze up when I have to talk to technology.
Yeah,
like I feel like I forget what happened, but I said the wrong word, and like where it was like, it's like performance anxiety when it comes to I know Siri's listening, and here she comes.
Yeah, and you're like, oh wait, no, I didn't mean to say that. Especially like I won't say her name right now, but it starts with an A and ends with an A. If I say it right now, she's going to talk back to me. But especially with that, because in some cases she'll go on and talk for like 15 seconds after I ask her the wrong thing, and I'm like, no, shut up. That's not what I meant.
You guys, I get so frustrated with that because I will tell. Maybe it's Alexa. I'm not sure. What's the one? I have a Google one, and it's my music in the kitchen, and I'll constantly tell it, play this, and the complete opposite comes out. But when it comes to ChatGPT, I love telling ChatGPT what to do. I am like the boss, and it's fun.
Yeah. That's and so what I've really tried to do is, how do I figure out, even for myself, how to get ChatGPT to work for what I need it to do, and how do I create what they call GPTs, so I don't have to explain to it every single time I need something. And the efficiency that it's created, I can create it. What used to take me like 3 days to create a blog that was filled with nice content, readable content, now can take me less than 20 minutes.
Oh, it's incredible. It's completely transformed my whole business, every single thing that I do. And for me, it's not even the content writing. It is the practice management. I mean, it's wild. It is completely crazy. And I now can't even get through my day without Gary. He's my ChatGPT. But now I was telling Dan the other day, Gary is just my main ChatGPT. Now I've got a zillion GPTs. Yep. I create one for each client. I create one for sales, for managing my practice, for this new program that I'm going to be doing, for like goal setting, and I mean, just so many different things. And for me, it's the biggest time saver is, wait, I want to tweak something, and I'll add that sentence, do it again, reframe it, do it again, add this, do it again, over and over and over and over. I mean, these tasks that I used to do as an admin, I mean, I can have done in seconds.
I now think about
wild.
Rachel, for a practice, and especially for somebody that is either just starting out, or they've got a lot of clients, but they're the one man shop, and I need a new client checklist. So I'm just letting you that is like something that would take me a day or two to do, probably. I can at least. So here's where I use it the most, and this is probably what you do as well, is instead of staring at the blank Word document, I at least say, here's what I'm thinking about doing. Here's who I'm thinking about doing it to. Here's what I want it. So I give it kind of a structure. And you create a draft that might be kind of neat.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. Like, yes, like you're saying, to get started, I have found, for me, the most important thing that it's become for me is my IT department, because that's where I struggle the most. Is I struggle with that kind of stuff. I'm just not a trained IT gal. But once I figure something out, then I know it, and I'm pretty good. I definitely have it help me with some accounting sometimes, but for me, it's the show me how to create a zap between this and that in seconds. And I just follow the step-by-step instructions. For me, I never have to hire, like, it's so funny because like people are talking about, it can do this in your bookkeeping. forget that. I now don't have to hire an IT manager. I don't have to hire, HR. I don't have to hire all these things. It's replaced a lot of that for me.
Yeah, and there's another product out there. You might have heard of it called Perplexity.
No.
Okay, so Perplexity, for your questions, how do I do this? If you go and look at Perplexity,
Rachel's looking it up.
Yeah, it's not a Chat GPT type of a thing where you can have it create stuff for you, but I use it. So fortunately and unfortunately for me, I don't know QuickBooks Desktop very well, right? But I still have to work in it. So I can ask Perplexity, how do I set up a PO in QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise Edition? And it will give you the true real steps to doing it.
Oh, so, that's incredible.
Yeah. So like for your Zaps, it's Perplexity. So I use them and I have them in a group within Chrome. So all I have to do is type on the AI group and it opens up Perplexity and Chat GPT. So if I want to create something that has statistics, I'll ask Perplexity, give me all the statistics on how long it takes to do a bill and the cost and all this type of stuff. And it will give me all the stats with all the sources and everything. And then I use that to go into Chat GPT and say, I'm creating this or that. So here's the statistics that I have, and it will do everything else for me.
Oh yeah, and that's great. And then like if you've created, your own in ChatGPT, and I've got projects. So if you've created, one ongoing, drop it in there and just train it, over and over and over. It's incredible.
Yeah. So
actually, and on the front page of Perplexity, there's a prompt that says, what do I use Perplexity for? I just clicked on it. It's very meta. So, and then it says, with professional applications, for educational and learning uses, for creative tasks, content generation. And it's so funny because, oh my gosh. Oh my God, real time and practical uses. Okay, I'm going to be in here a lot.
If you type in like, hey, what's the best software to do infographics? It's going to give you 5 infographics with the links to there.
Yeah, it's crazy because like for me, the probably in the top 5 things of what I love about AI is that it points me in the right direction. So I don't have to, because it's so funny. Like I've learned with the onset of AI so much more about what I'm good at versus what I'm not good at. And what I'm not as good at is creatively coming up with well, maybe I'll mix that with that.
Yeah.
Some people are really good with that. I'm not. You point me in the right direction, tell me what to do, I will do it, and I will learn and retain it just like that. So to have this as my guide and assign me like do that and then that and then that, great, now I know. And it is like sped up my ability to troubleshoot IT like you would not imagine. It's incredible.
Yeah, and think about it like on the complete opposite. I can create and I know what I want it to do. I just don't know. I look at that. I'm the one that'll look at that blank document for 35 minutes or 3 days and put in like writing a book and only put once upon a time.
Yes.
I know what I want the story to be. I just don't know how to start it. So
the night was humid. You always start with the night was humid.
It was a dark, scary night.
Right? Oh, but and then also, Dan, I know you want to say something, but let me just tell you like the coolest thing ever yesterday. I am very lost when it comes to Google Ads. And, it's on my list. Like, okay, ask ChatGPT how to walk me through step by step by step. So I was like, okay, now I'm going to tackle this. And because I was having somebody do it, but then I had to let that person go. And so I was like, I'll do it myself. Okay, I started with, because it's like what you were just saying, it seemed too big and monumental. So I just said, like, I went to my Google Ads thing and I just said, what's this? And then it just set me on the path. I taught myself every single thing about all the Google Ads, what it all meant. And then I asked it, why would I want 50 landing pages? And then it just explained it. I feel like I can now like open up a whole business on how to do Google Ads for somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, but just think about. Oh, Dan, go ahead. You wanted to say something.
Oh, well, I think right now, like, we look at where, ChatGPT or, OpenAI or this whole thing about AI was kind of introduced, almost like maybe 18 months ago, right? And where we are today, I think a lot of people, especially accountants and bookkeepers, are in AI fatigue, where it's like
Mhm.
it's a fire hose of information, and a lot of people could be like in the position of like, well, I it's too far. I feel like I would be drowning
Yeah,
now if I.
Yeah,
you're
it's too big
starting
of
a
a
race.
mountain.
You're starting a car race, like 3 days late, and you got to catch
Right.
up with them.
Where do you see, Ted? Where is this AI monument now?
Yeah.
In the present day, as
I
what you would call it.
I was thinking about this last night, like where it is, and seeing China's new thing and
Yeah.
stuff. So AI is like has gone beyond like the terrible twos, and it's now that toddler that is just you're like every day you go and you're like, holy smokes, they know how to do that now. Oh my gosh, they climbed up the refrigerator and grabbed the cookie jar. I mean, so it really is that toddler that is just, you're amazed at how much it can learn, right?
You've
So like,
you've gone from choking hazards to
yeah,
now
you've
to
gone
now
to from like what we were talking about is AI hallucinations to like,
yeah.
that's not even, it can almost ask you, are you sure this is what you were asking for? Because it doesn't make sense. So AI today, like I say, it's like that toddler, because now it can read images, which is amazing, right? You can take a picture of a butterfly, upload it, and say, tell me what this picture is, and it will tell you exactly what it is, what type of butterfly it is, what type of bush that it's on, what the background is, and all those types of things. So we're getting well past like just a large language model, and we're getting into more of a seeing, I call it computer vision. It can see things, and it's going to be doing things that in the future that I can't even probably like think about right now, well
Right.
beyond just asking a question. I truly believe that what AI is going to be able to do, especially for businesses like CPAs and accountants, and easily right now it can do it, but it can be your chat bot, but be almost where you don't even know that person is a chat bot, that it's really somebody that's answering human like intelligently based on your SOPs and all that other stuff. So you have an internal client chat bot and an external, and it's answering SOPs, it's answering easy accounting questions. But you have to think of AI right now as that, like Rachel, like what you were saying, as that assistant, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to upload, so what I did, I saw on LinkedIn somebody put an infographic. It was like a ginormous thing with all these formulas and stuff of how to um, analyze a balance sheet versus a cash flow or P&L and all these other things. And I'm like, okay, let's just take a picture of that and let me create a GPT and tell it to act as an accountant, because I want it to act as an accountant. Now I'm going to upload this, and then I uploaded a balance sheet into it, and it used all the formulas that were on that sheet that I didn't have to type anything in. I just took a screenshot of it and uploaded it into there. And now all of a sudden it's giving me like real feedback on a sample balance sheet. But like I said, it's like an assistant, Rachel, like you were saying, is now I'm not just going to take that and give it straight to my client. I want to actually review it.
Yeah, it's really important. You have to. And like the key thing that you said is you put the instructions of how to analyze it before you put the, is that what you just said? You
Yeah.
put, yeah,
Yeah. I
because
didn't say, hey, analyze this for me and let it
yeah,
just do
because
whatever it wants.
that's the risk is like, and I'll give you an example because I'm getting my master's in accounting right now, and like I have a GPT for every single one of my classes too, and because they're all very different, and so I would just test it, like, calculate the capital gains deduction on this and that and that. wildly incorrect. So you have to be very, very careful with the calculations and the whatever. And the more prompting ahead of time, these are the parameters.
Yep.
Now analyze it based on the parameters I just told you. That's where you're going to get the best success.
That's what I always.
You just dump things in there, you're going to get a total insanity. And so I did that. I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to see if it can do it. Everything was wrong. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah,
now,
just out of the
here's
box,
where
right?
it was right. I took my syllabus and I uploaded it and I said, and here's the parameters of the class.
Yep.
Now it knows the nuance of the various things that I need. So if you understand, like we've had this discussion a million times, if you really are understanding how to prompt it for what you need and the parameters of what you need, you're going to get better results. And so the people that really understand, how to assign it very specific things are going to get those type of outcomes. And like at my firm, we just had a meeting this morning talking about it. I'm not looking to have ChatGPT or automation or AI like do my work. We want to do that work. We're human people connecting with our clients. That's really important.
Yeah.
But but like with the repetitive tasks and even just getting the data into the application or getting everything into QBO. Of course, we're going to use every automation tool in the world and every AI prompt in the world, because then we can speed that up. And now we've got our bread and butter. Now we can analyze what we need. Now we can present it, bespoke and connect with our clients in the way. So it's really getting you, speeding you up so you can scale. And that's what I love about it. And so I feel like it's an incredible tool for those that kind of want to look at it that way and have this endless possibility of you can grow your firm kind of any way you want. And that's what the creative part that I like about it.
And that's where, Dan, a lot of people fail because all what Rachel just said is so like, oh my gosh, that is just, I have to do all of this. I don't even know how to get in and start my first chat, right? That's where, and I've seen, anytime I do a Chat GPT webinar, I swear I get like 500 people on the webinar because they still don't understand even just the basics on how to create a prompt or where to go. And I think probably where most people fail in technology is not having the understanding like Rachel does about like, I have to upload it. Well, how do I do that? I have to have it look at websites. Well, how the heck do I do that?
But you know what? I just started like one day trying one thing.
Yep.
And because I didn't know a lot about it before either. And again, like I'm not a developer. I'm not, that kind of person. But I know what I do well and I follow instructions well. So, this has been able to kind of, and trust me, I know I go to conferences and sometimes I sit next to people who are like, one of these days I have to get in the cloud. And I'm like, oh my God, and then I'll talk to other people. Like, I don't know if you guys know Andrew Wall, but I'll talk to Andrew Wall and I'll be like, oh my God, like I literally know nothing. This guy is like automated the universe and he's so incredible, and so it's all relative.
Yeah. And so that's like what you're saying. You need to just start with your first prompt and just say, even if your prompt is, hey, what can you do? You need to figure your prompts out like this. Who am I? What is the end product? So, hey, I'm an accountant, or hey, I'm a bookkeeper and I've been doing this job for X amount of years. What can ChatGPT do for me? And just start it out like that in a prompt, and it's going to tell you, and then say, I always think, and this is what I learned in some of the prompt engineering, is start with what you want the ending to look like, but know that you're going to have to make adjustments along the way. So I want the ending to be, all right, here are the manual tasks that I'm doing. And here's what ChatGPT can do. So I can tell ChatGPT, I'm an accountant or a bookkeeper. I've been doing it for this long. Here are some of the things that I do for my clients. Please create a table with what I do now with my clients listed on one side and what ChatGPT can do for me on the right hand side based on those two factors. And now I'm like, okay, I'm going to start with the first one. How can you help
you've got a blueprint.
How can you help me with? Yeah.
Yeah, that is so cool. And like a lot of it is also, you know, if you're interested in it but don't know necessarily how to do it, like this is why I've befriended people that are interested in the same kind of thing as me.
Yeah.
I met Dan and I was like, oh, we are interested in the same stuff. And now, like one day I'll tell Dan, hey Dan, like how do you connect that to that? And he's like, oh, did you try it with Zap? Where's Zapier? Like yesterday. And I was like, no, I did not. And so I just told ChatGPT, tell me how to do this and that with Zap instant. And so I got the idea from him. So you really, it helps. If you're like a solopreneur or whatever, and you're just kind of like living in your own little world, it really helps to kind of network with other people that are like-minded and also would like to learn new things in AI, and just kind of like immerse yourself, because everybody learns from everybody, and you know, I get ideas from other people.
And Rachel, guess what? Perplexity, I didn't find it on my own. Somebody told me about it.
Right.
That's the same thing.
Perplexity, what I'm an accountant. What can I do?
There you go.
Yeah. So
now Ted, you had mentioned something of like where AI is right now, or it's like graduated up to the
yeah,
right, and I think analogy of where things are today, because if anybody's had toddlers, you know that you just can't tell the toddler to do the results, right? So you have to, you know, they will be there. I mean, they're as literal as they come, right? When you're talking to a toddler, you know, if you say something a specific way, they will take that interpretation of that.
Like
and
keep your eye on the ball. They're going to go keep your eye on the ball. They're going to put the ball up to their eyeball.
It's like, well, you said
keep your eye on the ball. Yeah. Yep.
So I mean, that's a good way to imagine what you know, when you're interacting with AI, that's where it's you know, you would not make sure what you're telling it and framing it is where is the skill to interact.
And Dan, think about it in these terms
with AI right now.
All of us that have had toddlers, fortunately mine are 28 and 26, but still act like toddlers. If you tell a toddler to clean their room, not only are they going to have a temper tantrum, but the room is so messy, they have no idea where to start. So what you have to do is say, hey, let's start by cleaning up the blocks. And now let's start by picking up all your dirty clothes over here. So it's almost the same with ChatGPT. You're going to have to, the first prompt that I do is never the finished prompt. I'm always making changes and edits. And I'm like, no, I don't like the way you answered that. Make it a little more witty, you know, or no, that's not what I wanted. Here's a website for you to view that says exactly what I want. And guess what, Rachel? I found the website on Perplexity. So I'm like, here are 3 or 4 of the websites to do the research. So I'm constantly, like a toddler, cleaning its room, his or her room, telling it, no, you need to do here, you need to do this. And then finally the room's clean. And I'm like, okay, I need to review everything that the toddler just did, because I'm not going to, if the toddler comes downstairs and says my room's clean, I'm going to be like, I don't think so. Let me go up and take a look. And I open up the closet and it's filled with crap.
Don't open the closet.
Or I look under the bed, right? So that's why I like to use that toddler analogy, because it truly is like that.
Yeah, and the thing about the thing where you, from watching you work with AI, is that you can ask AI to help you question, right? Like, so you can help AI will help you create the prompts.
Yeah.
Like, what do I need to tell your room? If you, you know, and it will, and you mentioned it earlier, and we were talking about, and what brought up this whole idea of what we're talking about here today is I read AI hallucinations, because we early on in the whole Chat GPT is going to take conquer the world. We had this one end of the spectrum of it can't do math, right? Where it's like, how is it going to take over the world if it if it can't
even do math?
If it can't even do math. But then the other end of the spectrum is it can pass the bar, right? Where if you fed it the right amount of
the right information, yeah.
Right. But if you say pass the bar exam, what would it ultimately come out? Probably nothing close to what you were to tell it, right? So
yeah,
that's where we're kind of at today, is how do we interface with AI, because this AI overload is, everything's got AI now. It's in QuickBooks, it's in your software, MakersHub, it's in it's everywhere, right? So everybody's got this new shiny AI tool, right? So what we're going to do with Ted is we're going to start creating a cohort, an AI transformation cohort at School of Bookkeeping, where we're gonna back the truck up a little bit and talk about just of what is AI, what are the components of AI, what's the difference between Claude and Chat GPT, what's the difference between the OpenAI versus Copilot, or all of those things. And then as we go through and talk about the advancements of getting a little deeper, we'll get into the point of the prompts that will allow you to augment your practice as an accountant or bookkeeper or whatever that happens to be, but learning how to create the prompts so the puts that you're looking for inside of it. So I'm super excited about that. Yeah, we'll have the Mr. Rogers version of AI, and then we'll graduate to Sesame Street.
And then we'll go to the electric company.
Change our cardigans and change our shoes, just like Mr. Rogers. Can I tell you guys, this is like the coolest thing ever, Dan. I love that so much. I just asked Perplexity, what is the difference between ChatGPT and Perplexity? And it gave me an incredible answer, but it's basically like dissing ChatGPT. Basically saying it sucks and we're way better. And I can't post like outwardly. So I'm actually going to copy this and put it into a message to you. And then if you want to,
we'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, if you want to put it in the comments. Yep. I just private chatted you. But yeah, that's so incredible, because I really think it's transformational. And not only that, I mean, did you get it?
It got cut off.
I think. So only like one or two.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Let me actually just let me copy the whole thing. Yeah, it's really neat, and it's basically it basically says we incorporate stuff from ChatGPT. ChatGPT only depends on its own language model, but we use all kinds of different things. So it's like ours is more like a melting pot of all these things.
ChatGPT ChatGPT is the world, basically, as far as what ChatGPT knows. It's only its own. Like OpenAI it has its own large language model that powers ChatGPT, which is owned by. And just think about it, Rachel and Dan. ChatGPT, as of just like last year or maybe 18 months, only knew anything up until 2021, September 11th, 2021, because it was in its own little database and it didn't learn. So now that they've opened it up, and you could go out and have it learn stuff from the internet, but now I can go in and ask it, hey, what's MakersHub? And it would know, or what is this? It knows things as early as like what happened 10 minutes ago now, because it's constantly updating itself, and now can go out and look on the internet. So you can just say to it now, give me all the news of the day that I might be interested in. Here's my career. I'm a male, you know, I won't say how old, like 100 years old. And what list out the things that I might be interested in. And it will go out and do that for me.
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, and you know what I do? Like, this is a conversation. You know what I do with it? I even keep it open while I'm on client meetings or whatever, because I'll ask it, does this sync with QuickBooks? Can I do this one task in this one thing? I'll constantly, and it knows, you know, because now sometimes it doesn't always, like, I asked it yesterday, where can I find this one specific little thing? And it clearly didn't know, because it sent me down like a too generic of a path. And so, like, but you know what, sometimes I'll do, and I'll say, I did that, it's not there. And it'll go, oh, okay, hold on, and think again, and it'll find it. So it's really incredible in terms of sort of like this behind the scenes wizard, like making you appear smart, especially when you're in a meeting or you know, trying to figure out, like, oh, you know, can it do this? Like, and I find
that's where Perplexity is going to change your life as well.
Yeah,
so it's not like,
I can see you posted that link. Yeah, for some reason I couldn't get the whole thing.
So for whatever reason, like, not whatever reason. So I don't replace ChatGPT with Perplexity. I use them in tandem, and it really improves my prompts. And Dan, that would be something that we would like go. So like, baby steps is like ChatGPT 101 almost, right? Here's how you sign up for it. Here's the overview and the UI. Here's what you can do. And then maybe we give them a homework assignment, like create your first couple of prompts, and we want it to equal this at the end. So I'll think of some cool little thing that everyone needs to come to the correct answer, but it will take them a few steps to do it. And then, like, we'll get into what really helped me understand how it works is getting into the way that there's something called tokenization. So it breaks out everything you say into tokens, and then it puts them back together. It's almost like it's learning how to speak English, or learning how, like, remember when we were in grade school and your teacher said, okay, now underline the noun, underline the adjective, so that's kind of like what ChatGPT does. And then it brings everything together so it understands what you're talking about. And that's tokenization. So we'll even get into like those types of things, how that works, because it's really important to understand. Oh, I like your little, is that a doodle in the background?
Yeah.
That's what really helps understand this kind of this beast. And because it's a toddler, it's not very quick yet, so you are in the perfect opportunity to catch up with the toddler and catch it.
Right. Yeah. You can adopt this toddler. You know, and we look back at all the moments in time where things disrupted industries, right? And we just take the accounting industry for example, right? Like, everybody was in spreadsheets, or actually, you know, back in the old days of the ledger, right, where they had this huge piece of paper where they did their journal entries, and then here comes spreadsheets into the mix. Like, oh my goodness, this is going to take away the accountant's job. Well, no. But it now becomes a tool so that you can now do your job more efficiently. And then here comes, you know, accounting software like QuickBooks and Xero and those types of things. Oh, this is going to take away my job. Well, no, it's just, again, that's allowing me to, it's a tool that I can use. Now here's AI coming for my job, right?
Yeah,
well, no.
Think about it. Dan, think about it. So there's been different eras in technology. So there was the www era, which was all of us just getting online. And that allowed us to talk with each other and communicate over a distance. Then there was the cloud era, and that allowed us to access things from the cloud, access databases. None of these shut down our business, right? And then there was the mobile era, which allowed us to connect to each other and do everything over our phone. And now there's the AI first era, and that's what we're in right now. It's going to make remedial jobs, like it might affect remedial type jobs. It's not going to affect professional jobs. Right. It's going to enhance those jobs. And we're in the AI first era right now. And you need to embrace it because it's not going anywhere.
You said something on Monday. You said something on Monday about, like, the people that are like, oh my gosh, AI is going to take my job. It's not AI that's going to take your job. It's what?
Well, it's the not changing that's going to take your job. I don't know what I said, but it's the not adapting.
Well, I remember. So it was it's the person who does adopt AI that's going to take your job.
Yeah, because they're going to be able to combine a whole new set of things, and new job descriptions will emerge, and all these cottage industries. And like, it was so funny because I read something, maybe it was yesterday, that some guy said AI is going to basically do all mathematics now, and now the only thing people will ever need to do is communicate, just speak. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, because here's my take on it. I am in the trenches every day with small businesses. Yep. These people, they're not very well versed, and so they really need hand holding. And so, I could say your margins in Q4 compared to Q1. I mean, and they're just like, oh my God. So as long as there are still other businesses and other business owners and other folks out there that don't understand this new technology and the lingo and all of the things, we're still going to need to have an element of human interaction in our business and interpreting the financial information. Everything from very basic, interpreting very basic bookkeeping, like, client, here is the money that you earned, here is the money that you spent, and here is the difference. I mean, people are going to have to be explained very basic things.
You know what, Rachel? You could even, so you have all this stuff that you want to tell your client. You can even ask, and I know this is bad, but you can ask ChatGPT to dumb it down. Hey, I have a client who's in the, who has a garage and works on trucks. And I need to, this is their P&L. This is, everything that I wanted to talk to them about. Can you help me dumb it down? You don't have to say dumb it down, but put it into terms that this guy might understand.
And then for sure. And but my point being, though, is I'm not going to hand them what ChatGPT spits out. And here's a paper. No, like, my clients want to,
interact
they still, I don't like talking on the phone, but they still want to meet, or over Zoom or in person. They still want to interact and understand this part, because don't forget, the financial information that's somebody's livelihood. That's their business. I mean, that is everything to them. That's why they're in business. And so it's very deeply personal. And so you can't just go, here's a piece of paper, or here's an Excel file. They still want to understand.
Well, first of all, they're not going to read it. And second of all, if they did read it, they're not going to understand it.
Yeah, I mean, and you can ask a lot of firm owners out there too. They're like, my clients don't read the reports that I give them. So there's still always going to be that. Yep. So I'm not even worried about it, because I feel like even if I can harness the AI tools to become as efficient as possible, and even, learn about it my own self, it's like, Elon Musk or Bill Gates, like, talking amongst themselves about, and we're regular folks out here still not really understanding how their level applies to my life. So my clients are going to be out there still needing these things to do their taxes, and that's not going away. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe things will be different for my kids' generation, but that's a whole different story.
Think about when we talk about building, everyone wants to know how to build value to your firm, right? That's like, what makes you different than the person next door or down the hall that's doing the exact same thing that you're doing? And then take into consideration what Rachel, what you're doing with your clients, right? So you said I ask ChatGPT, can this do this, and I give the answer straight away to my clients, right? So in building value, who would you rather have? The person who says, I'm not sure, let me get back to you on that, and now I have to maybe remember that I even asked that question, and then 3 days later they may or may not get back to me. Or the person who, while I'm on the phone with them, types it in and says, oh yeah,
right,
you can do that, no problem. So the only thing that's going to differentiate you from the firm down the street, or that's next in the phone book or on the Google ads or whatever, is your value to the client and what your value proposition is. And then when they're working with you, the value that they feel that you bring to them. And what sets you apart from those people is being able to embrace something like this, so you can utilize. So it's not going to take your job away. If anything, it's going to make your clients sticky, in my opinion, because they're not going to be able to. Go ahead. Sorry.
And then in the grand scheme of things, my biggest takeaway from the Reframe conference with Hector was, automate the workflows, but humanize the relationship. And that relationship is never going to be taken over by technology, right? It's,
as long as there's people out there that don't understand things about what you're doing, you'll be needed.
Yeah.
So
go ahead. Sorry, Dan.
No, I was gonna wrap it up, but if you had something more to,
I don't have anything else to say. I could talk about technology.
We clearly could have a workshop Wednesday marathon session just talking about this kind of stuff.
Workshop Wednesday going into Thursday.
Yeah.
Right. All-nighter. But Ted, I appreciate you joining us here today. We're going to have Ted on the QB Power Hour, where we're going to go in a little bit of more detail of to what we're going to be doing with this cohort at School of Bookkeeping. So look forward to that in the coming weeks and months. And we'll look forward to starting that cohort in School of Bookkeeping, where ultimately you can participate in the whole sessions, or pick and choose topics that speak to you, to augment and be that fill in the gaps that you might be having with where this technology is today. Maybe you already know all the elementary stuff, or maybe I just need to really understand, how do I talk to this toddler today?
Yeah, right? And if you already understand all that stuff, like even Rachel did, you will still learn something. Yeah. Like, even if it's just as simple as Perplexity, right?
Yeah. Or sit and have a conversation with Andrew Wall, if anybody knows who he is, and he'll make you feel really dumb. And then you're like, oh gosh, I know nothing about this. I need to keep learning. Yeah. I'm just saying, I love him so much, but he's so knowledgeable about AI, and oh man, he's also a reframer too, by the way. Shout out.
Yeah, he got
me too.
He adopted that technology early on, right? Like he saw the wave coming and paddled out in his surfboard to meet it. So it's not that you can't catch up, right? I mean, we're at a point where it's relatively easy to, and as we'll discover, you can use ChatGPT or AI to help you catch up.
And just think trying to learn it. So it's been around like we're going on 4 years, 5 years, really. Just think what's gonna take place in the next 4 or 5 years. So if you wait, it by hard to catch up. It's almost like how to use an iPad, right? I mean, he can't do it. But if he would have started 15,
there will be a point where it'll be that water's
you can't just paddle out and catch up. So cool. All right, guys, thanks for letting me join. I appreciate the talk. It was awesome.
We appreciate you joining us, Ted, and look forward to seeing you in the future. And we hope everybody who joined us had insightful session. And we will we'll see you next time on the Workshop Wednesday. Everybody have a great day.